holidays, everyone. You are listening to episode 5 of the recurring Bosscast, Split Kick's fortnightly podcast. Thank you, Switch Fox, for that one. Oh, you guys don't know?
No, I do, but maybe enlighten people that don't.
Okay. So, Switch Fox sent me an email saying, hey, why don't you use the word fortnightly to describe how often your show comes up, because exactly. Fortnightly means every other week. Ta-da! Thank you for that. So, that voice you just heard was Jason from Inside Holidays, Gaming Daily and Slick Gaming.
What's up?
Also with us is Matt from Biff Bam Pop, and I am Jett from SplitKick.com. So, what's going on, guys? It's I believe this is going up right
Christmas
after
was so
Christmas
crazy. Wow.
ended.
Yeah, it was so fun. I can't tell you anything that happened because it was just so amazing.
I got insert gift here and also another gift.
Well, okay.
I do have a Christmas story to share that has happened. So, Steph and I hosted our first Christmas dinner together. Steph's family came over and my family came over, and we made our first ever turkey. So I've heard a lot of horror stories about first-time turkey making going really bad. Ours actually went really well. And it was delicious, and there was a lot of great food, and everyone was happy. After the meal, we decided to play Apples to Apples.
Oh, yes.
Have you guys played Apples to Apples
You have
before?
to enlighten me.
Game of comparisons.
It
is like Cards Against Humanity.
Clean with an asterisk. You never know.
Yes. Yes, with an asterisk. So, the topic card that flipped in this particular round was Irresistible. So, everyone plays their cards, and the first card that comes up, Bill Clinton. Next card that comes up, My Bedroom. And the third card flips over, and it's Handcuffs. And my mom goes, ooh, Bill Clinton in my bedroom with handcuffs. To which I freak out and just immediately grossed out at the thought of my mom with Bill Clinton and handcuffs in her bedroom.
Yeah.
Let's move on now before the image sets in.
I'm just going to periodically bring that back up to you, Jett, just in case. Just so you don't forget.
Yeah.
Steph does that all the time now.
Honestly, not a very gaming week for me. But, just busy with work, getting things tied up before the holidays. But, really looking forward to the break. So, should be good. Yes.
I'm really looking forward to Boxing Day. I have no idea what's on sale, but I do have a list in my head of these are the games and other things
now,
that
I'm going to the store, or are you going to buy them online?
On sale.
Oh, you, sir, are a better man than I.
I tough it out.
So earlier you said Boxing Day is like a Black Friday in Canada-ish? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we don't have that over here, but I'm working the day after at 6 a.m., so that's exciting.
Wait, there's no Boxing Day in the States?
What else?
Unless I've been misinformed for several years.
Not even
there's like day after Christmas sale, but no one markets it as hugely as, say, Black Friday.
Oh, wow.
So it's really just kind of, it's almost the day everyone returns stuff if they have to return it. That's actually why I'm going in early, is because I do returns.
Oh, see, we don't even accept returns on Boxing Day.
They don't accept them?
No, lots of stores don't accept returns on Boxing Day. Yeah,
that's how it should be, but not here. You got to get up early for returns, apparently.
Yeah. What about you guys? What's going on?
What else? I've shared my Christmas story. Jason, what's going on with you? So I heard there was some
that's right.
At Inside Gaming Daily.
It's kind of sad news, but I guess it was something that had to be done. But at Inside Gaming, the affiliate of Machinima, their blog portion, they had to let some of our staffers go. And, I just do freelance for them, so I'm a low end of the totem. So it was some higher end that went out, and that's always, really sad to see. But almost literally everyone I've worked with there got let go. So I know I felt really sad because, I like these people, and some of my editors I worked with for all 3 years. And, I've only really met one of them, but even so, they feel like my friends. And, seeing them out of a job, seeing anyone out of a job is sad, but when it's talented workers like that and people that you liked, it makes it kind of rough. But I know they'll move on and they'll get jobs. They'll stay in the business. They're all good people. So if you've watched IG Daily or anything like that, Inside Gaming stuff, keep them in your mind and don't forget and have fun with what Machinima is going to become later with IG Daily and everything. As of right now, I still am writing for them, but we'll see what the future holds if there's going to be more changes. But we'll let you know what happens.
You do hit on we wish everyone the best of luck involved, and I wanted to go back to your one point about feeling close to these people that you've never met. I kind of feel that same way with all the Splitkit guys, too. I talk to them online all the time, but I've never met any of them in person. I think I'm the only one outside of the country, actually, so that's a bit of a challenge, but I don't know. I hope I can go down there, down in the States sometime, and
it's a weird relationship, but somehow it works, so...
Matt, with Biff Bam Pop, I know you know a couple of people personally.
No, kind of the same way you guys. I know, like the guy the editor-in-chief, I actually work with in person. But a lot of the writers and stuff that we brought on, some of them are even from the States as well. So kind of the same situation that you guys are in. But yeah, I mean, we email all the time, and you form a relationship with everybody. You don't necessarily have to see them, but it's cool.
Yeah. And in other news, Laura and I are still not... We're still together, but we're not living together because she's in California and I'm in Indiana. But she recently is pretty much lined up to get a job. So with her getting a job, we were waiting for pretty much one of us to get a job, and then we would make the move. So it's looking good for moving soonish, maybe in the next few months for me to move out to California.
Wow.
So that's it's pretty exciting news.
Wow.
Kind of came up quick, so I know all the answers aren't there, but it seems like the pieces are falling into place. So it's kind of exciting.
Oh, West Coast bound.
That's right. If I recall, when we started, I don't remember if it was the first episode of this or the first preliminary episode. I think you guys both moved or something like that.
We did.
Is that correct? Yeah.
Matt just moved, and I moved a couple of months earlier. And I may be moving again.
So now it's my turn.
On that
yeah, I'll move, and then Jett, you can start over, and then Matt can move again.
Yes.
Oh, please no.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So that's exciting. That's what I got going on. Well, thank you all.
Congratulations to you and Laura. Let's move on to some show feedback. We were talking about games that we want for Christmas and all of that, and JJ chimes in with, "This is the first year I've put video games on my Christmas list. People never bought them for me before now."
That's kind of sad.
That's kind of sad. I don't know. Video games have made up a majority of my Christmas wish list for pretty much as long as I can remember, and to think of an alternate universe where that doesn't happen just seems really weird to me.
I think it's the same. The whole time.
Sad.
I can remember every Christmas list getting at least some games.
I think you've actually got all of your Christmas lists since you were, 2?
Nah, not all of them. Only a few years worth.
But he does have some games that he listed off that are on his list this year, including Assassin's Creed Liberation for the Vita, Mario 3D Land, and Kid Icarus for the 3DS. And I can say that Super Mario 3D Land and Kid Icarus are fantastic.
And I can also say that
Matt, you have AC3, right?
I have AC3, yeah. I haven't played Liberation, though.
Oh, okay.
Though I can say that it's probably one of, or as I've heard, probably one of the better games for the Vita right now. So it's a good choice. Just as long as it's not Call of Duty.
All right.
Oh gosh. Okay,
Jason, what have you been playing?
We're on a short week for Bosscast because this is just a week before, or a week after our last recording. So I haven't gotten much in, but I got a whole bunch of new old games, and so I decided I would play Poppin' Music for the Wii. Do you guys know what Poppin' Music is?
That is the weird Japanese music game with the big round buttons.
So this is the first time it's come to America. But in order to fully understand how, in a sense, atrocious the game is, you must appreciate the original content. And there's a lot of poppin' music is in Japan, and they all focus around that 9-button controller, and notes fall of different colors, and you tap them in rhythm to make music.
Okay.
Pretty basic. But in terms of music games, it's really the only one where you're not doing something that emulates or replicates an actual action. So you're not dancing, you're not playing guitar, you're not singing, you're just hitting buttons. So it's like the most mundane task to make music, but it's super fun. And I remember playing it in Japan and being really bad, but it's a neat experience. So when I saw this one, I thought it would be something really cool, and I thought maybe they could actually emulate it with the Wii remotes. I don't know why I thought that, but I got it, and they eliminate it down to 5 buttons, and it just doesn't work right. Like, it doesn't feel like pop music. The songs are way too slow. They're very Americanized, and it handles really, really poorly. So, because you can essentially just flail the Wii remote and nunchuck around, and you'll pass the song. You won't get an A, but you'll pass the song, and that shouldn't happen. I shouldn't be able to like not look at the TV and win, but I can. So it's it's bad. I mean, I think it might be a game. I mean, it's definitely targeted for kids in a sense, younger audience, by the way it's presented in terms of easiness. But I think it's a missed opportunity. They could have done a lot better.
That's unfortunate. Do they have... I don't think I've ever seen a pop-in music machine around here. Granted, there are very few arcades
if they had
area,
one, it would have had to have been a Japanese import, because this literally is the first time, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think it's the first time it's been in America, like, officially. It was this 2009 game. So,
right.
Bad representation. I'm sure they're not going to bring anything over after this one.
Because there is an arcade somewhat close to where I live in Pacific Mall, and this is, I guess it's a mall in Chinatown, and there's this arcade there, and they import a whole bunch of games. So all of the fighting games are in the Japanese style machines where you have to sit down, and they are one of the few places I know that has a Street Fighter 4 Arcade Edition machine there. I haven't been there in a long time, but I have gone there a bunch of times to play some games and get my butt kicked in Street Fighter, or kick some butt sometimes.
No, go on.
I remember... Do you remember the Japanese arcade game where you are holding like a giant index finger and you're poking someone up the bum?
Are you sure that's a real thing, Jett?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the game is called Boong-Ga Boong-Ga.
No idea.
And you pick all of these different characters, and the whole point is to shove the finger up the person's bum. I had heard that this particular arcade had this game in on the premises.
Well,
it was
for
just
reasons,
in a back room somewhere. This is a rumor that I cannot validate, but
so,
I swear,
if the game existed,
maybe not.
Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I want to get the results that that Google search brings up.
Yeah, oh my gosh. Yeah, this is a G-rated show, right?
Yeah.
But if the game existed and it was in this back room, do you have to ask someone, like, can I play the game where I stick a finger in someone's bum? Like, and then they take you there, they're like, here you go, and then everyone mocks you.
I have no idea what the process was, but I have heard that it is there. And what gives this rumor credence is that I was talking to the girl who told me this wasn't really a gamer, but she had heard stories about this game where you poke people in the bum, and I knew what the game was, so I kind of put two and two together.
Wow, that's incredible. So, you also mentioned Street Fighter, and before we did this, I know Jett was playing too, but I ran through Street Fighter X Megaman, and very, very happy. For a free game, Mega Man's anniversary is today, of all things. He's my favorite character.
Whoa.
So it was fun. It's I think it's capcomunity.com/Megaman. You can download it, and it is through and through a Mega Man game featuring Street Fighter characters, but it's done exceptionally well. And if there was a definition of fan service, they have to put this game there because it is fan service, and you'll appreciate it more if you like the source material of both things.
Right.
So that's what I've been playing through. What did you think of it, Jett?
So I started playing it just before the show, put in a couple of hours, and was not very successful at it. Side note, I put the link in for
Oh my gosh.
the game. Totally, it's a thing.
I like how you knew that was the name.
It's actually funny because
Is that clickable, by the way? I don't know if it is.
You gotta control it, I don't know. Yeah, it comes up.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do it.
Okay, there it is. So I'll talk about Street Fighter X Megaman for a bit, and you guys can get educated on some of these super racy Japanese games.
Wow, this is a thing.
Yeah.
This is just something.
Street Fighter Cross Mega Man. I played a little bit of it and immediately got destroyed on the Ryu level and the Dulcim level. Thought they were way too hard. And so I said, okay, maybe I just need to pick a different level. And I beat Relento's and I beat Chun-Li's. And I played all the rest of them and didn't turn out so great.
Yeah.
But I think it just comes down to some practice and then figuring out what weapons work well against what bosses.
Exactly.
So every combination I've tried so far hasn't worked out, but I just haven't been playing long enough to say that use weapon A on boss B.
Yeah. I played through the whole thing, and I didn't beat it because we were getting too close to this, and there's unfortunately no save, so I'll have to go back and play it again. But
yeah, that's a bummer.
I beat all the bosses so far, and I think I have the list down, but I'll let you figure it out unless you want to know. Tweet me if you want to know what it is, and I'll let you know what it is. But yeah, it's really good. And I strangely picked Ryu and Dulcim as my first two levels, and Dulcim's level is probably by far the hardest one in my opinion, with the exception of maybe Rose. But Rose just depends how good you are at really beating Rose. But yeah, she's kind of a jerk face.
I felt I had her pattern, but I just did not have the weapon to get through it.
Yeah,
I could dance around, but I just could not outlast her.
Yeah, I don't have her pattern. Like, I know she teleports behind me, but I can't evade her screen thing she shoots out. Oh, it's making me so mad. Like, she's the reason I couldn't beat the game, because at the end you have to beat them all again in standard Mega Man fashion, and I always die on her, so it makes me mad. But you use Blanca's weapon to beat Rose, and Blanca's weapon is kind of a joke. So it's I want to say it's like a melon, like a watermelon, but it's pretty. It basically works like a soccer ball. So you shoot it out and then you slide into it and it flies all over the screen. So you can see how that would be hard to hit someone who teleports all over the screen. But anywho, it's fun.
My favorite thing about Street Fighter X Megaman is that all of the bosses in the game actually have a meter that they are building up as the fight goes on.
Yeah.
And when it's fully charged, they unleash an ultra combo.
It's hilarious.
So the camera actually zooms in on the character, they do a taunt or a special pose, and then they kick into their ultra combo. And for Blanca, he stomps the ground, and the entire ground gets filled with electricity, and the watermelon things fall down.
Yep.
For Rose, she activates her orbs, which circle around her. For Olento, he does his Patriot Circle flurry and then jumps in the air and throws a whole bunch of grenades. It's really neat.
Yeah, Ryu's Ultra is the Ultra Combo Hadouken. And when it zooms in, I want to say Ryu says just Shinku is probably what he says. And he shoots it in Street Fighter 4 or Super 4. But in this one, it's all 8-bit, so you can't really tell what he's saying, but you know it's what he's going for. And so it's like, this is great. This is the greatest game of my time. Yeah, it's so fun. What else have you been playing? You got a huge list.
I do have a huge list. I actually cut some things out of here, but we'll just make it super quick for most of these things. I guess leading up to Christmas, I've got a bit of a gap between stuff I have to play to write about and when Christmas comes in, and I presumably get a whole bunch of games for being a good boy. So I've been trying to kill some games on my backlog, and one of those was Red Faction Armageddon.
Nice. Heard good things.
So that's an open world game on Mars, and you get a hammer that you can use to destroy buildings with your hands, and that's awesome.
Nice.
Have you guys played Red Faction Armageddon at all?
I played a bit of it, yeah.
Armageddon? Hold on. I totally wrote the wrong Red Faction. It's Red Faction Guerrilla.
Oh.
This changes everything.
Yes, the good one. So, have you guys played that one at all?
I don't think so, no.
No, yeah, I've not.
It is one of those games that I heard for years on podcast people saying, oh, this game is so great, and you need to try it. So I waited till it was super cheap and finally picked it up a couple of months ago and got around to it recently. And it's alright. I think the biggest thing that is holding it back for me at this point is that the game is kind of old and it's starting to show.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if I'll go back to it, but I did enjoy my time with it. Another game that I tried to kill off my backlog, Splinter Cell Conviction.
I actually enjoyed that game.
I did too.
I stink at stealth games. So, but I guess playing Deus Ex, Human Revolution, and Mark of the Ninja kind of opened me up a little bit to it. Mm-hmm. And it was also on sale for $10. So I said, I'll give this a shot. And then I realized it was a Splinter Cell game and immediately got destroyed. So I dialed it down to easy, and I was having a good time with it. And then I got to the level where you're working your way through the parking garage, and you can't make any mistakes, or they lock down the entire building.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's... After dying a couple of dozen times, I said, you know what? This is not for me.
Yeah.
I guess I could have referred to a guide and all that type of stuff, but I just don't like the trial and error.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's definitely one of those games that, you either like or you don't.
Yeah. And it's not a fault of the game per se. If you are a fan of stealth games, I would assume that this is one of the better ones. Yeah. I thought everything else it did was fantastic. I just suck at them, so... something else I played the karaoke game app thingy on Xbox Live.
And?
That
Karaoke
is
app.
An interesting solution to music games where... It's actually a service where you pay for time and not for the songs.
Really?
So there's actually a database of like 8,000 songs you can choose from, and all you do is pay for time to use the thing. So you can buy time in 2-hour increments, 6 hours, or 24 hours.
What's the fee?
It runs in real time. I don't know what all the fees are. I remember that if you want to play for 2 hours, it's $4.
It's not bad. I mean, that setup where you pay for time is how it is at actual karaoke bars.
Yes, and it works just like that.
Yeah, it sounds like it would work fine.
So it's not like if you buy 2 hours and use 15 minutes and then turn off your console and come back later, 3 hours later, your time's all gone. But if you've got a party going on and you need some songs, like, why not? It works fine.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, actually. I would have liked that a few years ago when I was still in college.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. It also has 5 free songs per day, which they switch up. So I sang by myself, I Want You to Want Me by Cheap Trick, and New York, New York by Frank Sinatra.
Wow. Kind of jumped the gaps there.
Yeah, the other ones were Proud Mary by Tina Turner, and I think some Kelly Clarkson song. No, it was a Carrie Underwood song that I don't know, and something else.
No Taylor Swift?
No.
That's a shame.
Actually, there's a bunch of Taylor Swift on the list, but it was not free.
I don't think that would have stopped you, though.
That's what I was thinking, too. I'm surprised you didn't buy it.
Okay, so this was also leading up to the Christmas dinner, so I did not have 2 hours of singing time allotted. So I just tried the free ones and said, all right, this is kind of cool.
Cool. So be good at parties or things like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right on.
Definitely give it a shot. It's free, so...
Yeah, you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah. Rayman Jungle Run, that's an iOS game. I picked that up recently, and that game is great. I don't know if you guys have played that. It was recently named, I believe, iPhone Game of the Year by Apple.
Wow.
I don't know. I think that's what ultimately pushed me to buy it. I've been eyeing it for a while now, and I guess seeing the accolades come in made me finally go for it.
Would you consider it to be one of the better iOS games?
Yes.
Nice.
It's one of those runner games where you control the jumping and the floating, but the character runs on his own.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of it being an endless runner, there's predefined levels, and the whole point is to try and gain all 100 of the shiny thingies.
Cool.
And so there's definitely some challenge in trying to collect all 100 as you run through the level. And the levels aren't just straight to the right. They go up and down, and you have to do wall jumps and all sorts of stuff. So it's actually really fun.
Cool.
Sounds cool.
Definitely
I'm
try
looking
it out.
into it.
And the last one on here, Rayman Legends. There's a demo downloadable on the Wii U. It's the same as the one in the store, except for one new level. And that level is amazing.
Why is it amazing?
It does some really neat things with the floating mechanic, where there's air blowing up from under you, and you have to float around and navigate through these weird maze things while fighting off enemies and collecting stuff. It's really well done. I cannot wait for Rayman Legends. I think that is as much of a system seller as any Wii U game coming up in the next little bit.
Yeah, it's easily one of the games I'm actually looking forward to. I don't even have the system. It looks that cool.
It is. It's been, all the levels I played are fantastic, wildly creative, and it looks gorgeous and sounds great.
I like it.
Matt, are you still playing that Assassin's Creed 3?
Yeah, still playing it.
You sound so remorseful.
I don't know, man. I guess I don't really know what I was expecting. I'm still kind of bored with it, and it's been more than 5 hours. I don't know. It's good. I enjoy it, but it's I don't know. Maybe it's moving a little slow. I'm still kind of holding on hope that it'll get a little quicker as I go. But I'm definitely willing to put the time in to see. So regardless of how I feel about it, I'm still probably going to get to the end of it.
Have you met George Washington yet?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Have you killed George Washington yet?
No, I
spoilers.
haven't.
No, it's not a story thing. Have you just killed George Washington just to say that you did it?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
No, not yet. It's okay, so now I have something to look forward to.
The impending doom of our first leader. Well, I guess my first leader.
Your first leader.
Yes.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm still willing to play that to give it a shot. I'm hoping it'll get better. My brother's played it, so he's told me he liked it. We kind of like the same things, so I'm optimistic.
Okay.
I beat episode 4 of The Walking Dead.
Hey!
I was on my way home tonight to play and beat episode 5 before the podcast, and I had to do emergency Costco shopping. But I have to say, and I'm not giving anything away, but the end of episode 4 is pretty cool. Also very sort of plot twisty.
Yeah, there's something... I felt that episode was a little weaker than the other ones, but it definitely makes up for it at the end.
Yes, exactly. And yeah, I don't know. I'm really, really excited to see episode 5, and I've got it sitting there waiting for me, and I just have to get... How long would you say episode 5 is, Jett?
It's the shortest one.
Okay, that's good, because it's waiting for me, and I can't wait to play it. But so far, absolutely floored. I love this game, this collection. It's amazing.
I think if there's one game I don't get for Christmas, it's that one. I'm gonna buy it. Like that one, it just sounds too good. Everyone's praising it.
It's so good. Yeah, you gotta get it. Yeah, and then last thing I'm kind of playing right now is an iOS game. And so I graduated from journalism from college.
Hey.
And I've always been kind of a grammar snob. So I found in this game on the iOS called The Grading Game. And it is exactly what the title implies. You literally grade people's papers for spelling and grammar and, punctuation and all that stuff. But it's done in this comical fashion where you are the sort of protege to the principal of the school or whoever it is, and he basically wants you to fail everybody so that you you owe a lot of money apparently in student debt or something. So he gives you money for every kid that you fail. So you have to go through their papers and find all their mistakes. Totally, probably not what everybody's looking for, but it's pretty fun for a guy like me. So
yeah, that actually sounds kind of great.
Yeah, and it's all time-based, so you got to do it all pretty quickly. And it's just basically you get a sheet of paper and you tap on all the errors. Really cool. It's different from anything that I've played recently, so yeah, I really like it. So if you're that kind of person, if you're always correcting people, which I try not to do, but sometimes it comes out anyway, yeah, I think you'll like it, definitely.
All right. How much is it?
I believe it was 99 cents.
Okay.
$1.99 at the most.
All right, maybe I will check that out.
Yeah, it's not for everybody, but if you're that kind of person, definitely try it.
All right, you guys cool to move into the Bosscast topic of the week?
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's do this. 2012 year in review. So I was kind of hoping we could do, at least when I first envisioned this particular episode of the show, envisioned us doing a top 3 of our games of the year. But for Jason and I, our picks are already out of the bag. So kind of the surprise is spoiled by that, but I thought we could talk about those, at least for a little bit.
Yeah, let's do it.
So, I mean, if you haven't read our picks, you can find those on splitkick.com. Since Jason's went up first, let's talk about his.
Yeah, went up today. So I only submitted 2 games for what I thought were Game of the Year because I only played enough that I thought 2 games I played actually warranted Game of the Year accolades. So I only have 2. But my Game of the Year, and it was an easy choice for me, was Borderlands 2.
Excellent choice.
Insert applause.
Yeah. And you can read the write-up about it and go more in depth, but I think the thing I liked most about it was the entire time I played it, I was always having fun. And it didn't matter if I was repeating a mission, if I played it before and I was playing it with Laura now, or if it was the first time running in, or if I was dying over and over, it was always really, really fun. And if, games are meant to be played and they're supposed to be games, they're supposed to be fun. So I think Borderlands 2 captures that really well. And my other game for the honorable mention was Virtue's Last Reward for the 3DS.
Nice.
It is
sang high praises for that one.
Yes, fantastic game. It is hands down the biggest surprise game that I've had of the year because I hadn't played the one before it and I really didn't know what to expect, but it looked like a cool, weird, sort of dark, game from Japan. And this is a game that it hooks you from the beginning because it's this really basic plot of kind of mystery. So you want to play like, okay, well, let's see what happens. And the more and more you play it, the more you just think about it all the time. So even when I wasn't playing it, I would think about the game and like, oh man, that's probably what happened, or like, why isn't they telling the truth? And like, why is this happening to this character? And I mean, for a game to suck you in like that, it's very impressive, and it's really short on the gameplay department, but it makes up for it in every other place, and it's an excellent title. Should then definitely not be missed.
Since you've been talking about it on the show, I've been kind of looking into possibly picking that up. Do you feel that's worth full price?
Yes, it is definitely worth it. I want to say it's $40.
Okay.
It might be cheaper now because it's been out for a little while, but yeah, that is worth it because you'll easily get 30 plus hours out of it easily if you play the whole thing. And in order to get the whole story, you have to play every single thing. Like literally, you have to. And it's worth it. It's very fun. You'll enjoy it every time.
That's 3DS and Vita, correct?
And Vita, yeah. I think the only difference between the two is the Vita version has not CG, but animated cutscenes every now and then kind of spliced in, whereas the DS only has like 1 or 2. So,
would you say that's detrimental, or is it just as good?
I was just going to say it really doesn't matter because the intro is the same on both versions, and it looks great, but I mean, the story is what you're playing it for, and the cutscenes don't add anything significantly. So,
nice.
Those are my 2.
Yeah, I would say that of all the games we've talked about in the last few weeks, or the last few podcasts, I should say, that's probably the one that you've convinced me on the most, just from listening to you talk about it. So,
wow.
I definitely think I have to try and pick that one up.
Yeah, I think I'm going to give that one a shot, too.
It's good. Yeah, you should get it on the Vita there, Matt. You might enjoy it.
Yeah, I think I will.
All right.
What about you, Jett?
So for my game of the year, I went with The Walking Dead. Probably should come to the surprise of no one if you've been listening to the show up until this point. It's kind of weird how I even stumbled upon that game. The guys on Splitkick, episode 1 had finished and were raving and saying like, oh, you need to play this game, and I had no interest in the franchise. I've never read any of the graphic novels, didn't watch the TV show. But I did like Heavy Rain. So I said, all right, I'll give this a shot. And the first episode was pretty mind-blowing, at least at the time. And then playing through the rest of the series, it just got better and better from there. The writing in that game is incredible. And it tells its story better than maybe any other video game I've played before, and there is enough interactivity there to make it feel like I'm really in this experience, whether it was an action sequence or working my way through a dialogue tree with a limited amount of time to make this particular decision. And in my write-up, I don't want to spoil it, but there is a moment at the beginning of episode 2 that still kind of haunts me now, where I was just stumbling, trying to figure out the solution to this problem, and one of the options just horrified me, made me question my own humanity, And I had to think, like, am I willing to do this for a shot at possibly saving this guy? And just the feelings that went through my head and in my soul at that moment were... It was something that video games rarely ever tap into.
Yeah, I mean, I know the exact point you're talking about, and I can say the same thing. I mean, spoilers, I've basically picked the same game as well. Like, Walking Dead's my game of the year as well. And it's just for that reason. Like, it makes you make decisions like you would have to make them in real life if you were actually in this situation. Like, there's no sort of video game, lax moments where you can just kind of sit back and sort of ponder over what you want to do. Like, you have to make the choices right away, and then you have to live with the choices that you make. And I think that's kind of the best part of it. It's very real, very realistic, and it's very sort of always intense, even in the moments where it's not really that intense. It always sort of keeps you on the edge of your seat.
And I love how they make all the choices. It's all very much a shade of gray.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not like Mass Effect where I'm just constantly picking the one where I want to level up towards. It's just, I'm in a situation, I have X amount of time, this is the decision I would make.
Yeah.
And I never regretted anything I chose throughout.
No, but often you look at the three, let's say it's 2 or 3 choices that you have, and you go, I mean, what do I pick? Like, anything I pick is terrible, or everything here that I pick is going to be, horrible, or, and that's, I think, sort of the best part of the game is just, the world you're living in is so apocalyptic and everything's so weird. It's like, there's not really any sort of good or bad choices. You're always kind of, I don't know, like you said, Jake, kind of floating on the gray.
Yeah. I even think taking a step back and looking at the bigger picture, I would not be surprised if The Walking Dead ends up being the game that... I would not be surprised to see a lot of Walking Dead style games going forward of all of these different narrative experiences that haven't really worked in a video game before but are coming now. For instance, one of the franchises I think of off the top of my head, Doctor Who.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
I think that would work perfectly in the Walking Dead formula. Where they've tried to make that...
Get on it.
Yeah. Doctor Who, there's all sorts of books and games and... Not games, and other types of mediums, or other... There's so many different types of stories that could be told within that framework that I'm really excited to see where it goes. One of my dream projects that I wrote a blog about this years ago... I can't remember what... I think it was... The blog post was called, Why Isn't There a Game About the Notebook? And
random, okay.
I think if you put the story of the Notebook in the Walking Dead framework, I think that could actually make a really cool game.
So what you're saying is any story inside the framework of The Walking Dead should be good.
It could be good, yes.
Yeah. I would agree. I think that they've kind of hit a home run with the way they've done it.
My honorable mentions were Borderlands 2, which we did talk about just a couple of minutes ago, and I totally agree with Jason. Every time I boot that game up, it is just fun. Even though I've beaten it now, and now I'm replaying stuff in Legendary Vault Hunter mode, I'm still having just as much fun as I did the first time I played through. And the other game I picked, and this one was a little bit... This one was tough, because right up until I sent my picks to Jim, I had Mark of the Ninja on this as my second honorable mention. And almost at the last minute, I did some soul searching, I moved it out. And that kind of broke my heart a little bit, because that game is fantastic and deserves all of the love in the world. I'm glad that Aaron had that on his list, because it is absolutely worth mentioning. The reason I bumped it out was for NBA 2K13.
Oh, yeah.
And I know it's not usually cool for us gamers to throw sports games in our Game of the Year lists, but I had a blast with that game. It is such an amazing simulation of the sport, and there may not have been any games that I put more time into other than NBA 2K13.
Wow.
With the exception of the fighting games that I play, but those are different circumstances. But I have not been able to put NBA 2K13 down since it came out in October. So good.
I don't know. I can never get into the NBA games. I'm not a big fan of the sort of rhythmic shooting engine that they have.
Okay.
I think you can turn that off, right?
I actually don't know. I've just played it. I haven't noodled with any of those settings. But I kind of feel like with shooting, I feel like I know enough of the sport and the players that if I take this shot in this point, I know the odds of this one of going in are good, and versus I take another shot and I have a good feeling that this one's going to miss. Like it gets that scary. Like how much of my real life basketball experience applies in the game.
Wow.
But that's good. I mean, I think that's probably why you picked it as
yes.
Yeah.
So, that being said, I'm a diehard NHL fan. So NHL 13, it's not on my list or anything, but I would say that it's one of, if not my favorite game on the Xbox. And it generally is every year. So, yeah.
So what would your games be?
My games?
Honorable mention. You've already talked about your game of the year being The Walking Dead.
Yeah. So my honorable mention, I'm going to go, even though I found it a little bit boring, I'm going to probably say Assassin's Creed, just because of the, it's, as I said, it's a tiny bit slow for me right now, but I think the fighting engine in it is great. The way they use the counters and all that kind of stuff makes it really fun. The game is, I'm playing it on PC, so it looks fantastic. And from everything I've heard, the game gets a lot better as we go along, so I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt. But from what I've played so far, I've really enjoyed it. So I'm going to say that's definitely my honorable mention.
Wow.
I have one more.
Okay.
One more is Guild Wars 2. And
nice.
I was a huge World of Warcraft fan. And I picked up Guild Wars 2 thinking, because it was free to play for one thing, and I've also heard that if you don't have a lot of time to put into it, it's kind of a better game to play. And it's been really enjoyable. It's not so much sort of restricted to the same sort of class types and all that World of Warcraft has been restricted to. Namely, you always have to have the trifecta sort of healer, tank, DPS, that kind of mechanic. It's more of a drop in, drop out. You can, like in Warcraft, you have to level up your guy to be a certain type of character the whole way. And if you want to change it, then you got to kind of level up another guy or whatever. Whereas with Guild Wars, it's, you pick up a weapon, you can become a swordsman. If you pick up a bow, you can become a hunter or, it makes it a lot easier to play, a lot easier to drop in and drop out. And I'm a big fan of MMOs, so that makes it an honorable mention for me.
That one got a lot of love as well from the Split Kick team. Do we want to move into what Split Kick as a whole chose as their Games of the Year / honorable mentions? Sure. So here's the list in Borderlands 2, Call of Duty, Black Ops 2. Do you guys want to stop after each game and say a word?
Nah, I think we got enough to say on our own, though.
Okay.
We got
Borderlands 2, Call of Duty, Black Ops 2, Far Cry 3, Guild Wars 2, Hitman Absolution, Journey, Lone Survivor, Mark of the Ninja, Mass Effect 3, NBA 2K13, Sleeping Dogs, Spec Ops The Line, Torchlight 2, The Walking Dead, The Witcher 2 Enhanced Edition, XCOM, and Zero Escape. So, I mean, that's a pretty good list.
Such a solid list, yeah.
I still hate Journey, but that's a personal preference. I know people love that game, so I will leave that one alone. Interesting omission, Halo 4. I'm surprised.
Halo's not there.
I know there was some internal back and forth. Davey Huggs wrote the review. I think the final score netted out at a 7, and there were some people who liked the game a lot more than he did, but even they didn't list it on their top 3 lists, which I guess says a lot, either about Halo or everything else that did make the list. No.
So not even an honorable mention. Mm-mm. Wow.
Which is, it's interesting because I'm positive that places will give Halo 4, best of recognition. I mean, Inside Gaming gave it Game of the Year, but it's good, and I think it all. I mean, yeah, you're right, Jett. It speaks for the games that are here; they're all really good. But I think it also just speaks for the taste of Split Kick. This is what they liked, and I think the fact that it doesn't include Halo, it's this big game and it didn't do it, just means that there's lots of games for lots of people out there.
Yeah, I just found it especially odd because it seems like a lot of people on staff were really into Halo 4, but I guess there was just other things that were better.
Do you think it has something to do with sort of its competition with Call of Duty? like Halo used to be sort of the quintessential shooter, right? And then Call of Duty kind of took that.
I don't know. I think my gut says that Halo 4 was just a really good Halo game, but we've seen that a whole bunch of times before at this point. So I kind of feel like some of these games stood out because they brought something new to the table. So a game like A Sleeping Dogs or The Walking Dead or, looking at this list, Mark of the Ninja.
Yeah, definitely.
Still a really solid list
job,
from
guys.
everyone. If you're looking for Christmas ideas, any one of those
one of the
games.
games I wanted to consider for Game of the Year that I just haven't had a chance to play, XCOM Enemy Unknown. Hopefully I got that under my Christmas tree and will be powering through that, but it won't make it on my list.
There was a sale. Gameloft had a sale today. XCOM was half off.
What?
Yeah, but it's over now.
Ugh.
I found out about it too late myself. I found out about it not that long ago, but it had already ended. Yeah, they had it on sale for I think $20 or something, $21.
Oh my god, I would have bought 2.
They had a bunch of them actually. A couple of the ones that were on the list here. I think The Witcher was under $20. I think it was 15.
Oh my lord.
And a couple of other ones. I can't remember which ones, but
We'll talk when we talk about game collecting.
All right.
We'll talk about The Witcher 2.
yeah.
I got a story.
Let's cover some other aspects about 2012. I'm gonna throw a big question out here that's totally not on the outline. 2012, slow year for games?
Slow year for the number of games. I think quality of games was great this year.
Yeah, I agree. Quality was definitely good.
I don't feel it was as strong as last
No, go
year,
on.
or kind of the last few years. Because I kind of felt like 2010 and 2011, we just had megaton release after megaton release every month of the year. And for many months in 2012,
kinda
I
right.
was playing nothing. Just old games, catching up on my backlog.
I think part of it might come from... Well, actually, Jett, maybe this is why it's for you, but I think Nintendo was very withdrawn from 2012, and I think it was because of the Wii U coming. So there was just months where there was nothing. I'm thinking... I mean, I know summer is slow for all games, but did any Nintendo game come out this summer to, play through? I can't think of any, because when I look back to, Nintendo, it kind of starts... It really starts in... I think, was it August or whenever New Super Mario Bros. 2 came out? Then they started to give a steady, trickle of games up to, a pretty nice November. But, I mean, that's only half the year. So with half the year, with one of the biggest companies gone, in my opinion, that makes it kind of slow. But, again, what Matt said, the quality was definitely there. Just go back to that list for Split Kick and you can see.
Oh, another honorable mention another game I thought was fantastic, Trials Evolution. I'd never played a Trials game up until that one, but I love the heck out of that game. They're
addictive.
Trials Evolution.
They really
feels mechanically brilliant, and I know everything about it. At least it just felt perfect to me for what it was trying to do.
Yeah.
And
well, it's simple, right? And it's perfect in its simplicity. It does exactly what you want it to do, and you have a great time playing it.
So I had a ton of fun with that game when it came out, and I bought the Origin of Pain DLC and played a bunch of that too. Really great. I know a lot of people were not as high on that one because they played the original Trials HD and kind of got their fill there, but for me this was the first one, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
All right,
So would you say that game flew under the radar?
I don't know. That one sold like crazy, so I would not say that it did. But one of the games that I would say kind of went under the radar a little bit, Kid Icarus Uprising on the 3DS. And not necessarily unfairly, because those controls were very divisive in nature.
Well, that what prompted them to bring out that second analog stick for the 3DS?
It doesn't even really use the second analog stick,
one of the big reasons.
Though. So you can't play it as a dual analog game, which would have helped it a lot.
Well, I thought, though, that one of the main reasons for that was for left-handed people. Yeah. So, don't want to leave out my left-handed friends.
And I'm pretty sure, I remember seeing commercials for that all over the place, so I'm pretty sure the marketing campaign for that game was pretty big.
Yeah.
I remember seeing Kid Icarus commercials everywhere.
From what I've heard. But it is... If you are willing to get acclimated with the controls, you will find an amazing game there to play. One of my favorites from this year that unfortunately did not go as far as it could have.
Yeah.
And I guess the other game I have here under the radar, Asuras Wrath, which is a Capcom sort of God of War-ish game, but if you kind of look at it from that perspective, you'll probably be pretty disappointed. But if you look at it from the perspective of it is an interactive anime with a couple of God of War bits in the middle, then it's kind of rad.
I actually completely forgot about that. That should have been on my Christmas list.
That is definitely a game worth... well, maybe not definitely worth experiencing, but if you find it for cheap, and you have any sort of interest in anime or God of War style games, check it out. It's probably dirt cheap at this point, and you might find that you really like it, like I did.
Excellent.
Jason, I see you've got a big list of under the radar games here.
Yeah, I've got 3. I just kind of perused quickly, so I'll go over them fast. But I thought that the Steam... I want to say it's Steam exclusive, but I know it's for the PC. Yesterday, it's a indie game. I can't think of the company that makes it, but you can look for it on there. It's essentially a point-and-click adventure, like Secret of Monkey Island and things like that. And it's really good. It's short. You're only going to play it for a few hours, and the price tag's kind of high, and I know that's why it went down... flew under the radar in a sense, but it's really good. The production value is high, and the story is really, really entertaining.
So it's iOS too.
It's on iOS?
Yeah, iOS, and it's $7.
Oh man, yeah. If it plays the same, then yeah, get it cheaper that way. Or if it's on a Steam sale this holiday, yeah, get it. That's definitely a fun game.
Nice.
And I really enjoyed Double Dragon Neon, the revival by Way Forward. I played it on the Xbox, and that's just a straight up fun game. Like it feels just like... Okay, like the best way to put it is they didn't quite remake Double Dragon, but they didn't quite make a sequel. They met perfectly in the middle. So it captures everything that made the original really good and just like cheesed it up with a whole bunch of like ridiculous dialogue and psychedelic colors, and it's really funny. I mean, purists aren't going to like, kind of the change in art style, but it's still a solid beat 'em up that's definitely worth playing through with a friend or playing online. Nice. And then the last one I have is the 3DS game by Sega. It's Rhythm Thief and the Emperor's Treasure, which, for most respects in my mind, was trying to rip off Professor Layton, but in a different sense. I mean, Rhythm Thief, it's a music game, but it's kind of the same idea of this bizarre story, and set in, I think it's in Paris, I want to say, and it's a whole bunch of music-based mini-games that you solve, and by solving, you somehow thwart the police or infiltrate the Louvre or whatever. And I don't know, it's a ridiculous story, but it's a really fun game, and it's a game that Sega could franchise out because it's that fun. So hopefully we see more of it, but that's definitely it's a 3DS exclusive right now, I think, and it's a fun one to pick up if you're looking for something different for your 3DS.
Nice.
Matt, did anything disappoint you this year?
Disappointing games. I think probably my biggest disappointment was Mass Effect 3.
No.
And I'm not going to... Okay, so I have to sort of put this into 2 parts. The game itself and the series as a whole, the story, was great. And I would recommend people play it because the experience is actually a really good one. However, that being said, the ending soured it for me. And even though they've released all this DLC and all this stuff, it still doesn't really fix the sort of initial letdown that I had with it. So I would say that kind of stuck with me. So I have a generally good opinion of the series on a whole, but the ending soured. I feel the
exact same way. It's shown up on a couple of people's lists for Splitkick Game of the Year, and who either liked the ending or it didn't sour them enough, but it totally soured it for me. I really liked the game up until that point, and then I just felt that ending wasn't that entertaining. It did not answer any of the questions that I wanted answered and did not provide any sort of closure. So It was just
totally.
Totally not what I wanted out of an outcome. Even with the extended cuts, which, I mean, there was more of it, but it still just did not hit the right notes for me. Yes.
Well, and it felt tacked on at the end, right? So, you know, I would have rather gotten an ending that they wanted to write and chose to write, you know, by writing the whole series continuously and then coming to the sort of conclusion, not sort of an outcry from people that hated the ending, so they rewrote it.
Do you buy any of the indoctrination theory stuff?
No. It's pretty much a flat-out answer. And you know what? Keeping with that as well, I think that's probably why I sort of flocked to The Walking Dead the way I did, because it is a game where your choices really do matter. And I think after being let down by Mass Effect, The Walking Dead was sort of a breath of fresh air.
Wow. That's a good way to put it. Funny story for my disappointing game. Off of Mass Effect 3 released the same day as Street Fighter X Tekken. And I had a choice which game to buy. And I bought Street Fighter X Tekken. And apparently both games were bad, but I feel like Street Fighter X Tekken was a letdown. And I know Jett agrees, but it was okay. The idea was really cool, and the universe colliding was really neat, and it was actually well done, in my opinion. It looked good, but the game just it wasn't that fun. Like, it was cool, and it was fun to see people fight, but the actual fighting didn't feel good for me. And I think that was just not what I was looking for at all.
Yeah,
and for a fighting game, that's kind of
played a lot of Street Fighter X Tekken this year. At one point, I was ranked in the top 20 in Canada in that game, and in the top 200 in North America. So I put in a lot of time learning the nuances of that game, and I just got to a point where I really did not like how the mechanics meshed together or didn't mesh together. And as I started playing people who were just kind of exploiting the same junk over and over again, and certain things were overpowered and certain things were just horribly underpowered, I just ultimately did not like the mechanics as they were put together. So I know that there's been a bit of a resurgence for that game, for thanks to certain tournament players who have really put in the time to learn all of the nuances of it, but it just ended up not being for me. With that said, they are ramping up for a major patch next year for Street Fighter X Tekken version 2013, where they supposedly fix everything and make it all better. So fingers crossed that it becomes the most improved or something like that.
I think with this update 2013, next year it could be on the disappointing games list again. You know, if it doesn't, it could pull the impossible and be on there twice.
Yeah. Also, on a side note, Jett didn't even like the game. He was top 20 in Canada. That's how good Jett is. Just throwing that out there, in case you guys missed it.
I
also got to get I had hate for one more game. I did not like, or I thought it was fine, but I didn't really care for Pokemon
fired.
Black and White version 2. Yeah, and I know I'm in the minority in this one, but it's not a bad game, and in fact, I mean, the Pokemon formula is solid, so that is fine. But in terms of the first game that is actually a direct sequel, I thought that it left a lot to be desired. And there seemed like no advancement in the series, and it's starting to look really, really stale. And it's always the same thing, but this time it just felt like literally the same thing because I was going to the same places. So why would I buy the game again? I already bought Black and White, 2 years ago.
So it's all the same cities and towns and all that stuff?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's all the same ones. I know they change some of the routes, and because of the actions at the end of the first game, there's different gym leaders and whatnot in the second game. But I don't know, like, it just didn't feel like an advancement for the series. It felt like they just went sideways, and So they need to do more. And I actually had a big write-up on Slick Gaming about the 10 things I need to change. And when I was done writing that article, I was like, man, like, that game would be great. Like, why don't they make this game? But,
if you were writing it, it would be great.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm sure it's Nintendo not wanting to taint their franchise, which A, makes a lot of money, and B, is actually pretty solid. But now maybe I'm getting older and I can see the crinkles in its face. It's getting old. So
Yeah.
that was a letdown for sure.
Well, that being said, too, that formula really works. So
Yes.
Pokemon is like the Nickelback of video games. They just have a formula and they stick to it.
Okay.
For better or for worse.
That could be a back of the box quote. It's like the Nickelback of video games.
Pokemon is the Nickelback of video games.
I have a feeling, Jason, that Pokemon is not going to change much anytime soon, and I think it's not going to because
It won't.
every new Pokemon game is someone's first Pokemon game, and it's totally the Disney model.
Yes,
They
exactly.
just want the kids who are playing this for the first time, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, even with that mindset, like I thought Black and White was one of the best ones they made since the beginning, like since Red and Blue, and to say that, and they just changed tweaked here and there. I know Nintendo can do it again, but how they're going to do it, I don't know. But it definitely needs to change in some degree. Some main factor needs to change for me to be impressed yet again. So, anyways, I'm done ranting.
So Nintendo,
Yeah.
if you're listening,
Also
Jason
make it
will
an-
write your next game for
Also,
you.
make it an MMO, please.
It's already almost written.
Yes.
That wasn't one of my ideas, but that could be pretty cool.
All right, let's end this on a sour note. Flat out bad games. So, I guess as independent writers, we don't normally have to play much in the way of bad games. Well, Jason has to play some, but I did play one super terrible game that I would not have played otherwise. It was actually the very first game I reviewed for Splitkick. It's Bloodforge. I don't know if you guys remember this one at all.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah, I actually think I was supposed to review it, and I got out of it.
So at the time,
Someone else got it for me.
When Splitkick was asking me to come on, they gave me two options for games to review, and one was Trials Evolution, and the other was Bloodforge. And
Oh,
I had never heard.
You picked
I knew
Bloodforge?
that Trials was hard. I've never played a Trials game before, and I probably would not be the right person to review that game. So I said, "Give me Bloodforge." It came from the guys who made the Silent Hill game on the Wii, which was pretty good. And from what I saw in the
it was good.
trailers and the pictures, said, okay, maybe this could be good. No, it is not. It is really, really bad.
That's like
Yes,
the
it is like
what action beat 'em up
Scottish
thingy,
God
right?
of War.
Yeah.
wow.
And
Yeah.
they
Scottish
just
God of
ripped
War.
off all of the
I
superficial stuff, and then all of the underlying mechanics that made God of War fun, they totally missed.
Okay, I gotta stop you because all I'm imagining now is Kratos with the Scottish accent.
In a kilt.
So
In a
don't
kilt,
buy that
yes,
game.
exactly.
Don't
Yeah.
even try the demo. Just skip it completely. Yes. Do you guys played any other terrible
Yes.
games this year?
Matt, have you played any?
Um,
I can get into mine if not.
yeah, get into yours and give me a second to think about
Okay.
it. I'm not 100% sure.
So for most of the reviews at Machinima, it's two things. Like they have a game that they're going to send you because they got it and they want to get it reviewed, or you ask for a game, and if it works, they let you review it. And I got to review by asking both of these games. So I got Men in Black, Alien Crisis, and Never Dead. I got them on the PS3 and Xbox respectively. I got Men in Black thinking it would be terrible because it's a movie tie-in game, and it was pretty awful. Like the controls were horrifying, and the graphics clipped all over. The enemies were just dumb, and the game would freeze every now and then. The end boss fight is so buggy, no pun intended, and it's just a overall really bad game. The only saving grace for me was that it came with a $10 voucher to see Men in Black 3, which was pretty good. So
Nice.
I remember
Black 3 good,
buying
Alien Crisis
the
not
Matrix game on GameCube, and the thing that pushed me over the edge to buy it was the fact that it came with a free ticket to see the movie, the second one.
yeah,
Yes!
you talking about Enter the Matrix? See, but that wasn't
It
that
was
bad, in
pretty
my
bad.
opinion, unless I'm
It
thinking
was
of
pretty bad.
Yeah, yeah,
So
but
I
yeah, okay.
if I were
you're
to
right.
use the split kick scale, I would give Enter the Matrix a 4, which is probably the same. I think the same score I gave Bloodforge.
Yeah, I think Men in Black would be a 4 on Splitkick's rating, but just avoid it. Just like Jett said for Bloodforge.
Is there a magic price for Men in Black?
And then
Crisis.
Yeah. Well, now that the movie's over, so the ticket is not valid, then I'd say it would still be $5 because it is a disc, and discs are nice to own. But I wouldn't buy it. Like if I saw it and I didn't have it, I'd be like, yeah, no, I'd pass. But the other game I did not like was Never Dead, and this one actually looked good in my mind. If you recall, it's the game where essentially you play as this. He's not really a god. He's more like He's a cursed dude, and he can't die because he's already dead. And the gameplay comes around from him losing his limbs, and he has to like rebuild himself while he fights monsters in a sort of Devil May Cry-esque gameplay. And because he can't die, the game is called Never Dead. But the game is just really, really, really bad in everything it tries to accomplish. And I give the game credit for trying something new, because the idea of having this guy who can lose his limbs, and if you lose your arm, you can still shoot with that gun, but your arm's on the other side of the room. Or if your head flies off, then you have to roll your head back to your body. Like it's pretty novel. It's a novel idea, and it just was not executed well. The controls are really bad, and the worst thing is, I can't think of the guy's name, the main character, but he is like a ragdoll. So if he gets touched by an enemy, all of his limbs will fly all over the place. And there's certain enemies that if they eat your head, like it's game over. And it's awful. But there's so many shining rays that try to get through the black tar. Like I remember this one boss fight where you're in a mall and you have to kill the boss from the inside of its stomach. So you throw your arm into his mouth and shoot your gun. And I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. Like that's a neat thing. Cool. But when the controls are bad and the camera's awful and the game and like your head's flying all over the place and you can't do anything, it's really, really frustrating. And that was a huge letdown, very bad game. I would say no, avoid it.
Got it.
Did you think of anything then, Matt? Any hate brew from our hate?
I don't know. No, you know what? Honestly, I don't really. I haven't. I should say I haven't really had enough gaming time to. I started being pretty choosy about the games that I've played this year, so I haven't fallen into the trap. But yeah, that being said, I know that I've avoided some real bad ones. So I'll learn from you guys and stay away from some.
Nikki, former Splitkick writer, actually did the review for Never Dead for Splitkick, and I remember her giving it a 2 out of 10.
Yeah,
wow.
I think I gave it a 4 out of 10 because it was like they said, those shining moments. It was like it's almost there, and I want you to push forward, but no, it didn't happen. There's never going to be a good sequel.
And on that note, that was 2012. Yay! Let's head into 2013 with I guess a more positive note than what we just ended off with. Jason, before we go, what you got cooking?
Okay, so like I said last year, yearly roundup is coming, where I go over all my games I got for the year and kind of touch up on a bit of them.
How many?
So that should be something.
So I know you catalog all of your games, and how many games did you get this year? Are we talking 100, 200?
Ooh. I actually don't know. I'll have to go back and see. I'd say definitely 200. It's got to be more. I'm trying to think offhand. It's probably more like 3 or 4. Probably 3. Yeah. Just because I got my 1,000th game this summer of my collection, so that was pretty cool. Nice milestone. But I'd say it's at least 300-ish. So,
wow.
Yeah, I'm pretty jealous.
It's sad.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just, it's what I do. Like when people say, "Oh, you have so many," I don't really go out to bars that often. I don't go to movies that often. I don't eat out that often. So a lot of my disposable income, I'm like, yeah, I'll buy that game for $2, and so I buy it.
Or definitely for $5.
Yeah, definitely 5 or under. No, I'm serious. Like the last my last Sunday roundup, all the games I got there were less than $4. So nice. 6 games for $4. Come on.
Good stuff.
Anyways, there's that coming up, and then I have brewing, and I have things ready to go for next year. I have 3 new features I'm going to work on for the blog for Slick Gaming. So there'll be something on the Sega Saturn specifically, more video reviews for noticeably bad games, and then just more of my already going features like my modern classics and free plays. So that should be pretty cool. So I'm excited for all that stuff. So look forward to 2013 being better than 2012.
So Biff Bam Pop, we are still doing the 2012 holiday gift guide. So it's been going. We do a different thing every day. So it's about halfway through now, and it's been pretty good so far. We're also doing, or I personally am going to be doing a Game of the Year post there. Spoilers, it's Walking Dead. I don't think that's any surprise.
Yeah.
So that'll be happening probably later on this week. So yeah, definitely look for it. Should be
there we go.
Yes, it'll be up by the time you hear this podcast.
And assuming I have gotten my act together and finished all the edits, my impressions on Trine 2 Director's Cut should be up on Splitkick now. That was a fun game.
Which is awesome.
And I think all the Splitkick Game of the Year posts have probably wrapped up at this point. So there's definitely a lot of content on there celebrating the best games, and a lot of great comments in the comment section of each post. So definitely get involved in that because it's a lot of fun. All right.
So quickly, guys, 2012 on gaming, scale of 1 to 10. Jay.
I rock 8.
7.5.
Good.
Jett.
Best year for gaming?
Yeah, I'd go about a 7.5 as well.
Nah.
Pretty good.
What was the best? What do you guys think on the spot? Best year for gaming? What year had the best
year, or no? Oh, what
One
year?
of the ones that sticks out off the top of my head was 1998.
I think you're better suited
Was
to
that
answer this
Legend
question.
of Zelda? Yeah, Ocarina.
I don't know if that's the. I would say that's the best. But it's up there.
Oh man, I'm trying to think. I want to say it's 2006 or 7. One of those years. I just remember playing my GameCube and Wii like all the time. I can't think of what I was playing. Oh well, last year was good. What am I saying? Last year was like fantastic.
Yeah,
man.
That's kind of where I was going to last year.
Yeah, I don't think this year's going to go down as being one of the greatest, but it's definitely one of the better ones of recent years. I mean, it's not bad.
Yeah, I would say that. It's a good answer.
You got The Walking Dead came out, so you'll always remember that. 2012,
That's true too.
The Walking Dead.
All right, some final plugs. Don't forget, listen to Fall Damage, Rocket Jump, watch Bits of Reality, Old Game Plus, all of the posts that we have on splitkick.com. Definitely check those out, comment on them, read, react, all that good stuff. You can email us at bosscast@splitkick.com. Don't forget, you can also download us and subscribe to us on iTunes. Review us on there too. And if you'd like to reach us on Twitter, Matt is at Matty Lang, Jason's at Jay Jasicki, and I am at Jetlandy Joe.
And yeah, one more thing. Don't forget about Bill Clinton and
Bill
Handcuffs.
Clinton, handcuffs with your mom in the bedroom.
Yeah, can't forget about it.
I think we were both waiting to say that.
Exactly. I was like anticipating him to be done.
And we're out.